So how was your book club last night?
It's about these women that all come together in the 60s by bringing their kids to the park. And they, one by one, meet each other and become this circle of friends. I think there's 5 of them. And they're each very different personalities. And one of them, one night while they're watching the Miss America pageant, remember that's like what people did in the 60s and 70s, is we got all excited to watch the Miss America pageant. They were talking about their dreams, things that they had to put aside, like being able to go to college because their parents could only afford to send one, so they sent the brother instead of her, even though she was really clearly the more academic. You know, things like that would have been decisions made in the 60s that would have been considered perfectly logical, that even though your daughter is more capable, that your son should go to college, you know.
Right. Your daughter's just going to get married and have babies.
Right.
So what's the point of an education?
She doesn't need an education, right?
No.
How much do you need to know to raise kids?
Not much.
Zilch, apparently.
Yeah.
I don't know. Learn to sew. I don't know how to sew. I could stitch witchery.
I could like mend a sock, really, if I had to.
I can hot glue gun, but I burned a hole in my thumb hot glue gunning this. Maybe I can't do that.
See the dangers of motherhood.
It's scary, and there really should be classes. But
yeah, I digress.
So, which is strange for us, really. So anyway, one of the characters in the book reveals that it was her desire to become an author, that she really wanted to write. And she says this, and all of them say, well, we love to write, well, we love reading books, well, why don't we start this Wednesday Sisters group where when we get together in the park, we'll bring a babysitter that will help watch the kids and we'll write together. And so they start writing about their lives, and some of them are good and some of them are not, and they critique each other's writing. And so anyway, their lives start unfolding in the book as they're together reading each other's writing, and you find out these amazing things and painful things.
It's kind of like blogging.
Well, every book I'm reading is kind of like blogging. The good thing was it gave me tons of ideas of stuff to write about, because it's 5 women talking about their lives, and so
yeah, but you can't like interject and think that like that's your life now.
Yeah, sometimes I read things,
and then you pretend it's your life.
Kind of like actors when they're in movies. They leave their spouses because they fall in love with their co-host or whatever, you know, the person in the movie with them. Because they think, oh yeah, we're married, we can do everything.
That happened to a couple actors a while ago, didn't it?
1 or 2.
Yeah, and they have a lot of kids now or something.
Right. Yeah. There's one scene in here where they're just starting to really get rolling with this club, and the one really outgoing girl, Linda, says, I've got an outing for us and you need to be at my house at, crack it on the next day. And she drives them to a mortuary. And she has totally. So they're looking at her like, huh? What, huh?
Yeah.
And so this mortician comes out that's a friend of hers and greets them and brings them in, and he turns on the solemn music and he opens up a casket, and one by one they're instructed to get into the casket.
Oh my gosh.
And lay there as though they've passed.
Oh my gosh.
And then these friends are standing around the casket, and they slowly close the casket doors on them and talk about what they'll miss about this person.
Aww.
And then they open it back up, and one by one they each have this experience of climbing into the casket. And the woman who brought them on the outing said, there are going to be lots of things said about your life, and we don't know how much life we have, because her mother had died at a really young age in the book. We don't know how much life we have. Are you really willing just to settle? Because basically society tells us that we have to settle, that we can't have all of our dreams, or at least at some point have all of our dreams. And so it's this point, this real turning point for each of them, where they realize, so they take a picture of each of them
in the
casket with their friends standing around them. So each of them has this in their little journal where they do all their writing. And so whenever they feel like, I can't do this, or this, something is impossible, they pull out the photo of them at the mortuary to remember. And so then after that, after they got dead and they had their pictures taken, he turned on this rock and dance music.
Oh.
And then they celebrated the fact that they felt like they had this rebirth of,
right,
now we can do what we're meant to do. We're giving each other permission. So it was a good moment.
Well, I don't have like a friend that's a mortician, but we could maybe like just dig a hole in the backyard and maybe get
maybe
like
your dogs will dig it.
Maybe get like a refrigerator box.
Okay.
And lay in that and kind of like bury it up. But not too much dirt, because you'd want to hear what the other person's saying, I guess. Do you think?
Let's recreate that. No, I think that's genius. Let's recreate that moment. Let's invite our friends, and let's have a mortuary moment.
I think we should do that.
Maybe we can rent a mortuary for an hour with a mortician. I want someone really
Scary looking.
scary, dark suit,
White pasty.
very serious.
Hello, welcome to our mortuary. Something like that.
Right.